Welcome to Working Man Investor. On this channel, I discuss the economic environment and the steps that we can take to protect ourselves and our family's financial future. I'm really looking forward to today's episode. If you're a parent of a teenager who hasn't quite figured out what they want to do after high school, or if you're a young man or woman and you're stuck in a job that you don't feel has a future in it, this video could potentially help you greatly. Today's video is on the coming crisis and how it could help you build wealth, and you could be part of the solution, helping many people. So if you watch the news, you're probably thinking, what looming crisis am I talking about? Well, the crisis I'm talking about doesn't get much attention from the media because it's not as negative. It's not about war and death and destruction and all the things that get us to watch TV and improve their ratings. The looming crisis I'm talking about today is the massive shortage of skilled tradesmen in the United States. As of the making of this video, America's Builders and Contractors Organization estimated that in 2024, the construction industry needed to add 500,000 workers on top of their normal pace of people they needed to add just to try to keep up. Then in 2025, this year, they need to add another 500,000 will be needed to keep the industry on track. There's a shortage on basically everything in the trades: electricians, plumbers, carpenters, HVAC technicians, just to name a few. And this isn't just the United States problem either. Some estimates that this talent shortage could mean that 85 million jobs are going to go unfilled by 2030. That leaves an $8.5 trillion in unrealized annual revenue on the table. Construction firms have reported most of them have openings that they're trying to fill and struggling to fill. 88% are having trouble filling them. And a shocking 68% of the firms have candidates that lack the skills. There are people applying that can't even read a tape measure. There's many reasons behind this. One is the aging workforce, which is part of the reason why this is such a wonderful opportunity, as many of the skilled tradesmen are reaching retirement age, and they're not being replaced by the younger workers. I've read that for every 5 to 7 older generation that retires, there's only one young person in there to step in and take the place. So think about what that does from an economic standpoint as far as prices go. Part of the reason that skills and carpentry and all this stuff is going up and more expensive for us to do, to hire someone to remodel our home, is because the labor isn't there. There's fewer people able to do it. When there's fewer people able to do something and it's in high demand, the price goes up. It's a supply and demand issue. You've got these people wanting this work done. You don't have enough people to hire to fill these positions. So that right there is a wealth building opportunity. There's a stigma around the trade careers, which I find absolutely ridiculous. Maybe it's because I'm a little older now, but even 20, 30 years ago, had I had the skills to step into someone's house and do some carpentry work for me, I would really care less if they thought I was an idiot because I was just a carpenter. That shocks me. Is people's self-esteem really that low? Well, if you want to build wealth and build a financial future for you and your family and protect your family's financial future, get a self-esteem first. So enough of that rant. Don't ever let anybody stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good for what you do for a living. A lack of exposure in education. This goes back to when I was in school. I'm Gen X, and they ripped all the trade schools out of our schools just as I was getting ready to take them. And I wanted to take them because I was not a very good student. We've taken it all away. We've stripped the trades out of the schools, and then we've taken our children, mostly our young boys, and we've told them, sit down, do this worksheet, shut up. If you can't do this worksheet, you're the problem. Here's some mind-altering drugs. Take them to settle you down. Instead of just exposing them to other things, like an educational system designed to actually find your talents. You can't be an engineer, a mathematician, but you could be a carpenter. You could be an electrician. We've shut that down. We've denied that. And now we're in a situation where we have this looming crisis of all of our tradespeople are aging and are not going to be able to do it much longer, and we don't have the youth to step in and take it in. That's a direct failure upon our education system. Drives me crazy. And there's misconceptions about the income. This is what I really want to hit on and I'm going to get into some strategies here once I finish my rant, is there's a lot you can do on the side, and I'm not just talking side jobs, to build wealth if you have these skills. which I'm going to hit on earlier. But yeah, you make good money. You can regularly make a good salary. Now, the problem with that is, have you ever seen a tradesman that's 45, 50 years old trying to get out of their truck after doing this for 20, 25 years? They don't look good. It is rough on your body. It will beat you up. That's part of the reason, too, why some people have chosen not to get into the trades as a career, which that's understandable. But if you follow the strategies that I'm going to teach here after this, you can get into trades and you can get out at a pretty relative young age with cash flowing assets and money in the bank to either allow you to do a career change or maybe not even work at all. We're going to get to that. Then it just goes on to other things, increasing of technology, insignificant training programs. That goes back to what I said about them pulling it out of the trades, out of the school system. That's just unfortunate. I don't want to get back on a rant on that. So I have presented a lot of facts here just showing that this could be a good opportunity within the trades industry. However, you're probably thinking, sounds like a great career. The only thing is, that's not the only thing I want you to get out of this video. What I'm going to present to you is the wealth strategy or steps that you can take now with a job like this and the skills that you'll get like this from this industry to provide you with a very bright, lucrative future. So how would I do this, knowing what I know now? If I'm 18 years old and just graduating high school, and I'm unsure of what I want to do with my life. I know I don't really want to go to college. I don't want to graduate $100,000 in debt, and I don't have anything in particular I want to go for. Or if I'm a parent who has a child that's in the same situation, I'm going to at least suggest to them that they look into the trades. And you can do that in a multitude of ways. You can try to find an apprenticeship. There's still electrician apprenticeships and plumbing apprenticeships around. Those are very, very difficult to get into. A lot of times you need to know somebody, but it wouldn't hurt to fill out the application, go and talk to them, try to get in there, because then they pay you for your training and you will get amazing training. But that's harder to do. The other way you can do it, you could attend a community or a technical school. In my area, there's plenty of schools like this around. They're a lot cheaper. There's ones that offer associate's degrees in building constructions. There's HVAC training schools. There's electrical certifications you can get. Get some type of training in these skills to make yourself marketable. Once you have that skill, you want to go out, obviously you want to get hired. Focus in on your first year or so, just learning the job, getting comfortable doing everything, and becoming the best that you can at it. Because if you're the best at something, I don't care what it is, and there's a market for it, meaning people will pay you for it, you're going to make money. You're going to make a good living. You're going to have excess money at the end of every month after you've paid all your bills, provided you haven't blown it all on unnecessary things, to then invest for your future. So I would spend a year and I would just learn the job really well. But as I'm learning this job, I would network. Now, what do I mean by that? So say I'm an electrician. I would talk to plumbers on job sites, HVAC people on job sites, and I would just get to know them, get to know who I could trust, and I would get their number in my phone. Hey, this is what I'm planning on, flipping some houses someday. I'm planning on doing house hacking, which I'm going to explain. When I do that, I'm an electrician, but plumbing isn't really my thing. HVAC isn't really my thing. Can I get your number, though? So if one of my rental properties or the house that I'm flipping, when I need you, can you come do the side work for me? Because it'll be cheaper if you do it that way, and you're building up a rapport with them, and then when they need an electrician, they're going to likely throw some side work at you. So as you're doing this too, you're keeping your consumption down. So you're not doing what a lot of people do when they get their first good job right out of high school. This is important. Don't go out and buy that motorcycle. Don't buy that expensive car. Don't move out into an apartment to have your bachelor's pad. And the point of this is to build wealth so that when you're 45 years old, you're not limping out of your pickup truck to a job site, already taken 6 ibuprofen, trying to figure out how you're going to make it to retirement. The point is to be retired by the time you get to be 45 through these skills and this job and this strategy. So you're networking, you're getting to know everybody, you're getting everything out there. So then what you're doing is you're going to start learning the real estate market. You can go on Zoom every day and just start to figure out in what areas, what zip codes are the average price of properties that you would be interested in. So if I were going to do this, I'd start off buying a fourplex. So it's a 4-unit. I'd get the zip codes of the areas I want to live in, and I would start looking for these to come on the market, and I'd start learning the price so I can get a good deal. And then I would sign up for a real estate investors meetup groups. Every area usually has them. You want to go there, and again, you're networking. You're starting to talk to people. You want to talk to real estate agents, get to know real estate agents. Tell the real estate agents you want to house hack. Now, what is house hacking? There's two ways you can do it. House hacking is simply you buy a property and you move into it, and then you rent out the spare rooms to somebody. It could be a good friend of yours. Say you buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for $150,000. All right, so you got this mortgage on the property. You move in, you move somebody else in, you rent the room out for $400 or $500 a month to this individual. That gives you experience as a real estate investor, gives you an experience as a landlord. It allows you to supervise what that person's going as you're living there, and it allows you to make income, to make money off of this property while you're living in it, reducing the amount of money, your monthly bills, and increasing your monthly income. This allows you to save money for your next property where you're just going to rinse and repeat. So now the way I would do it, though, is I would move into some type of a multifamily, duplex, triplex, floorplex, one of those type of buildings. So my strategy would be, as I move into these, I would move into the smallest unit available. So say I buy a fourplex, one with a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, a 1-bedroom, and a studio. Ideally, I'd want to move into the studio. Now, I want to move into whichever one's vacant. I would move into the studio, and I would move into the studio. Now, I've already got skills as an electrician, and I've already got this Rolodex from these job sites where I've talked to other skilled tradesmen. So if something breaks that I can't fix, if I don't know plumbing and my tenant here has a plumbing problem, all I got to do is call 3 or 4 plumbers in my phone. I just start calling them one by one. Hey, I got a problem here, man, at my rental property. Can you come? So living in this property, though, you're collecting rent from the other 3s that's now covering your rent. You're now saving money. You're still working. You're still avoiding unnecessary purchases. You're not buying the new car. You're not buying a motorcycle. You're not taking $10,000 vacations. Now, I'm not saying don't enjoy your money. You do have to enjoy your money, but you got to be smart about it. The point of making money is not to spend it. That's got to be your mindset if you ever want to build wealth. People say this all the time. What I work for to spend it. You can't take it with us when you die. The point of making money is to take that money and put it to work for you. Invest it so it makes you more money. When you build up a large enough nest egg and enough cash flow, as in your assets that you have bought, your rental properties, your dividend paying stocks, your vending machines, whatever you choose to do, as that cash flows, that's the money you use to enjoy. That's when you start buying your luxury items. Back to my strategy. So you're still saving this money. You're not buying dumb things. So you're going to live in this fourplex. I'd live in this fourplex for 2 or 3 years. I'm still focusing on being an electrician, building my network, and I'm starting to talk to property managers. Why am I talking to property managers? Because my goal isn't to live in this fourplex forever. My goal is to buy a house and then rent out this unit that I'm living in to increase my cash flow. But me personally, I don't want to manage the property at that point. At that point, I'm done. Why is that? Well, property managers take 10% of your collected rent. I realize that. But they give you your time. You're building wealth here. You can go fix that toilet and save $75. But what if it takes you all day and 3 trips to the Home Depot? You've lost time. In that time, you could be executing your strategy to make more money to buy more properties. So that's why when my rental properties, I use a property manager because I still work my W-2 job. I'm not a multimillionaire. I still wholesale real estate. And I still, obviously, I have a YouTube channel. All these things are other things I use to generate wealth, more wealth, that I can do because I'm not fixing toilets. I'm paying somebody to do that, but the money that I'm paying for somebody to manage my property, I'm making more with my free time. So you're going to start meeting property managers because that's going to be my strategy. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my skills that I've learned, my Rolodex of people that I know. I've been working these job sites for a couple years now. I've learned each town probably's code, and the code, maybe even met the code enforcement person, so I know the rules and regulations that each town has. I'm going to go start looking for a house in a Class A or Class B neighborhood. So there's three classes of neighborhoods. Class A, upper middle class, upper class. Class B, middle class. Class C is your more rundown neighborhoods. I'm looking in Class B, Class A, but I'm not looking for the nicest house. Now is not the time to buy your $1 million home, your $500,000 home, whatever a really nice house is in your particular area. I am looking for something simple because I'm still young. I'm probably still single, or I might be married and I don't have any kids yet. So I'm looking for something like a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, detached garage, something simple. But I'm looking for the worst house in the nicest neighborhood. Because I have these skills, I'm going to buy this beat-up house. I'm going to move into this beat-up house, and I'm going to put my skills to work. When I'm not working, I'm at home in this house I'm living in, fixing it up. Calling my plumber buddies, my roofing buddies, or whoever, and paying them cash, and they're helping me out, and we're getting this house fixed up. Then I'm going to live in it for a minimum of 2 years. So now I've added value. I've added a tremendous amount of value because I bought this house cheaper, because it needs a lot of work. I was able to do the work, a lot of it myself, and what I couldn't do, I was able to have my network, my buddies within my network to do, and they charged me a lot less than the average company off the street did. And they're skilled tradesmen, so they did it the right way. That's key. You don't let them cut corners. So you pay them good, and they do a good job for you. That has to be part of the strategy here, because you're approaching this as a professional real estate investor. You're not looking to cut corners and increase your profit. So you're going to live in this new home that you bought for 2 years. Now you're pushing probably mid-20s, okay? You're really young still. You still may not have kids. You got the fourplex. Now it's renting out, it's cash flowing. You got a property manager handling that. Now you got 2 options with this house you're in. Since you've lived there for 2 years, now disclaimer, I'm not a tax expert, so do not take this tax advice as tax advice. Take this video as information purposes only, and before you execute this, talk to an actual tax person to make sure, 1, I'm right, which I am, and 2, that it hasn't changed since you've watched this video. So you're going to live in this property, you live in there for 2 years. If you're single and you choose to sell it, your money is tax-free up to $250,000. If you are married, it's up to $500,000. So you could sell it, pocket a nice chunk of change, go to another nice neighborhood, rinse and repeat, find the worst house, move into it, your mid-20s, and do it for 2 years, sell it, move, do it for another 2 years. Now you're late 20s, you could have a large sum of money in your pocket, I don't know, $500,000. Now you're ready to get married and have kids. You're in a much better situation financially. Or what I would do, I would rent the property out. So now I'm mid-20s. I've got at least 8 rental properties. If I've done this 3 times, I'm living in the 3rd house. So I got 2 houses and a fourplex. So I got 6 rental properties. The 2 houses are probably paid for because I bought them cheap. And I've still got this great career. I'm still young enough. And this is assuming that I haven't saved enough money to, in between, just bought another rental property or 2. So by the time you're mid-30s, late 30s, you're in a much better situation financially. You don't have to be a carpenter, or electrician, a plumber in your 50s and 60s and abuse your body. You've taken this skill that's in demand because there's a huge shortage of it, and you've weaponized your career to your benefit. You haven't just treated it as a 9-to-5 job. You've gone in there every day, you've made money, you've taken advantage of it, you've built a network of people that could lead to anything. You could start a business with one of these guys. You could start your own contracting business. You could start your own flipping business of houses and have a crew. There's so many options you could figure out. It's just as you're doing this. But it all comes off of learning this skill, weaponizing your career to build your financial future. Okay? You're not doing this just as a job, just as you're buying assets. You're using it to buy assets, to build a portfolio of potential rental properties for yourself, along with a chunk of cash that you can invest into anything. You can reinvest it into yourself if you decide in your late 20s that something you want to do and go back to school. You could be in your late 20s, you and your spouse could have your first kid, and you could already have money saved up for the kid to go to college. How many parents would love to be in that situation? So this is the kind of the strategy that I would do. I would just totally take advantage of this. It's not easy. It's not a silver bullet. It's going to take a lot of discipline, but it's there. And with the way inflation has hit us in the past 5 years and the way that housing prices have gone up, I strongly recommend that you look into house hacking. Even if you buy that single family home and you move a buddy in there, or two buddies if it's a 3-1, and you rent out both rooms for $400 a piece, you're bringing in $800. Now you're able to save more money. You're on the property ladder because the property is in your name. And you're able to just go on to the next house and do it. And if you have the skills to fix the house up as you're living in it, I mean, that's a potential gold mine. I just wish more people would look at their careers not as, what am I going to do for the rest of my life, but how can I use this career to build wealth? Don't say, oh, I didn't do this to not make money. Now, I'm not saying that to be greedy either, because there's probably people watching this thinking, oh, you're being greedy. No, you want to look at money. One is to use it to make money, but you want to look at it, and I've said this in other videos, as a financial wall. You build a financial wall around your family. Think of everything that scares you: job loss, inflation, illness, death of a spouse, all that stuff that can hurt you financially. A transmission going on in the car, hot water heater leaking because you live paycheck to paycheck. All that stuff that scares you. The assets, the rental properties in my example, are the assets that cash flow every month. They're bringing in money and they're putting it in your pocket. You don't need to have a job to get that money in there. This is your wall that you're building. The more assets you have, the more things that are bringing money in every single month into your pocket that don't involve your job is the wall. And it's thicker and it's higher if you have rental properties, dividend paying stocks, vending machines. You can have a portfolio of many diverse things putting money into your pocket. That's what you should strive for. And then when all this money is coming into your pocket, then you can really then take the $10,000 vacation. Then buy your luxury car. Then buy that boat. You want to buy your luxury items from a position of strength. And that position of strength is money coming into your checking account, bank account, every month, outside of your regular W-2 job. Now, not everybody can be a billionaire, and this strategy certainly will not make you a billionaire. Not everybody can be a multimillionaire, although if executed right, this strategy can. But I'll tell you what we all can be, and we all need to get to. We can all be that person who, if we walk into work in the morning and our boss calls them into the office and tells us that we're out of work because of the economic downturn, we are not one of those employees sitting in our car in the parking lot, fighting back the tears, trying to compose ourselves, trying to figure out how we're going to call our spouse and tell them that we lost our job and what we're going to do. You can all have some cash flowing assets to where you lose your job, you walk in the door, you tell your spouse, and you look at each other and say, we got this. No problem. We got this. Not, we'll figure it out. Not figure it out, we're not a plan. We got this means we've got a plan. We've got this money coming in outside of this W-2. Now this W-2 is wiped out, but we still got this money coming in to keep our heads above water until you find more work. We got this. That's what you want to do. That's what money's for. To me, that's the safety net. When you operate your life like that, your children are going to learn from your example, and you're not going to be one of those 65s. You're unlikely, it could still happen. You're unlikely to be one of those 65, 70-year-old parents that are giving your 45-year-old kid money every month, telling your spouse, man, I wish Junior could just get it together. That dude cannot get it together. You don't want to be that. So set that example. When you set that example, your children are likely to follow it, and then they're going to be productive members of society that can raise their family and teach your grandkids this. So then when you die, which is inevitable, all this wealth that you've built, you could leave to your family. And studies have shown that families' generational wealth only lasts through 3 generations. If you set this example, I truly believe this, and you explain that to your child, he'll explain that to your grandkids. And then when they get your money, inherit some of your money, they can go on and do great things with it too. So this one simple strategy, Look through what's in demand, what's in the market that you can do, and use it to make money. And then weaponize that money to build a wonderful future for yourself and your family. Working man investor, keep grinding, people.